it's fulfilled by Mr. Billy Jackson, who's been in that seat for almost 30 years.
Yeah, for 29 years.
Yeah, so I've talked to some other candidates. They said it would be some big shoes to fill, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be a lot of turnover coming from Mr. Jackson to a new councilman or councilwoman. We do have one woman running in District 1. It'll be a new, style of leadership. I don't think Decatur or District 1 has seen that in 29 years, so it's important that, we get out and make ourselves known to the community so that we can kind of follow in the footsteps, but also move Decatur forward.
And why did you decide to run for public office? Is this your first time running for public office?
No, this is actually my second time running. I ran for District 2 in 2020, and it was the height of COVID, so people really weren't answering doors. You couldn't have too many events just because of the precautions due to the COVID outbreak. So this campaign has been completely different. I have an entire team. The first campaign was just me and Quez. This campaign, I have a team that's with me. I've been able to knock on doors. I've been able to get out into the community, meet some new people. And the reason that I decided to run is because Decatur needs change. We need leaders who are going to stand up. We need leaders who are going to make sure that Decatur gets what is due. In this area, we've kind of fallen behind with Huntsville and Athens and Madison growing at the rates that they've been growing. We need someone in with vision, someone who can have that foresight to bring Decatur up to the par with the rest of the region.
And what is your vision? What are some of your initiatives that you plan to implement, should you be elected as a District 1 City Council member?
Some of the things that I want to bring are grocery stores. North Decatur is a food desert if you go by the 2-mile standard. So we have to bring grocery stores back into District 1. When I was a child, I remember we had 3 grocery stores. I remember Moulton Street being, economically sufficient. I remember Danville Road in the District 1 area being economically sufficient. I did not get to see Vine Street in its glory, but I was told about it. So I kind of have that imagination to say, okay, this is where the Green Frog was. We can put a restaurant here. This is where the Tatum House was. We can put some type of third space here for the kids. So redeveloping what I'm calling the downtown corridors, which would be Vine Street and also Moulton Street, is one of my top priorities. I also want to make sure that we have things for the youth to do. A lot of times the youth are just out doing nothing because we don't have the services and things that we used to have. I remember growing up, we played basketball at all the rec centers. We don't have as many rec centers now. I remember we had the skating rink. We don't have the skating rink anymore. So we have to have someone who can come in and figure out a way for Decatur to give the services needed for our youth to grow and, have a great pool of constituents one day that will be voting and doing the things that I'm doing. So that would be one of my other main issues. And on the inside, I want to make sure that we get what's due to us in District 1. District 1, a lot of times, is the last considered when you're talking about economic growth, business development, infrastructure, all of those types of things. So I want to make sure, that I get in there and I use my political foresight, the history that I do know about the area, and I bring to fruition the ideas and the goals that my ancestors tried to build, and they did successfully accomplish. I want to bring that back to the area.
I had the opportunity to interview another candidate, Nick Perkins, yesterday, and he mentioned too, like some of the same, I guess you would say, principles that you're following through with your campaign. And my question to you is, it's about the youth. I'll pose to you the same question I posed to him. I had the opportunity earlier this year to talk with Mr. Gordon with the Morgan County NAACP, and he told me that he does notice a certain trend of violence among the youth in Decatur. Now, I'm not sure if that applies to District 1, but for you, how do you intend to essentially quell that or keep the youth busy so that violence isn't what they turn to? So
one of the things that I want to do is extend the hours of Decatur Youth Services. In Baltimore, they extended the hours of their rec centers and they saw a 62% reduction in violent crime. Decatur doesn't have that big of a crime issue when it comes to the kids, but they don't really have anything to do. So if we could keep them in a safe space until at least 11 p.m., that would kind of keep some of them out of the streets at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We have to also make sure that we bring back the recreational activities that we used to have. I grew up playing cash and wheeler baseball, and I played, soccer with Decatur Youth Soccer and things like that. So we have to get back to that, the PALS League, all of those things that made Decatur what it was. We have to bring that back. Everywhere has crime issues. But Decatur being such a small knit community, we don't have to deal with that if we do what's right by our community and by the citizens. So if we can just go back to giving them something to really do, if we can find spaces and locations for them to be so they're not all piled up on each other, or they're not all sitting out in the parking lots in the middle of the night, that would be great to just give them something else to do.
Another trend, thank you for sharing that, another trend I noticed too, same thing said, is that District 1 seems to be forgotten. Why do you think that's so?
District 1 has been forgotten because it's a majority black district. That's where most of the black people live. So I know that through policy and policy prescriptions that were supposed to bring parity to the community, they did not. The 1976 Urban Renewal Act, it destroyed a lot of the historic buildings on Vine Street. The economic deprivation, not building or putting any type of big box stores to where we can have large scale employment with decent wages. Those types of things have always happened because there's no one there really. Well, Mr. Jackson was there fighting for us, but he was one of 5. You know what I'm saying? So when you're on a council, you have to kind of go with the majority. There's a majority vote. So if you want to invest and do things in District 1, it takes more than just Mr. Jackson in that District 1 seat. It takes a group or collective of people to get together and say, hey, we're going to invest back into District 1. And I think for a long time, Decatur itself has been disinvested in. For the past couple of terms, there's been a big focus on tourism and not really a focus on the citizens and the community. So I think with my campaign that I'm running, it's a focus on the citizens. It's a focus on getting the amenities, which are basic necessities, back to the citizens. It's about focusing on that budget and making sure that budget works for the city and not for, the tourism board or for particular boards or particular companies or particular families that have been running Decatur forever. I want to get back to community focus and make sure that we move Decatur forward. We can't move forward if we have the same old thinking, if we have the same old people running things, same old people doing things. We have to have new blood. We have to have fresh ideas. So, yeah.
And a follow-up to that, you're a familiar face in the community. You're an active voice, part of Standing in Power. You, long before the Steve Perkins situation, you've already been active in the community. So how do you intend, and I think the Steve Perkins kind of put things to a head, would you say?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, things just kind of grew from there where people were more vocal about change in the city of Decatur. But I do know prior to that you were active in the community. How do you plan on cultivating camaraderie within the council and the city? Because we do see that there is a divide within the council, just a divide within the city. So how do you tend to bridge that community?
Communication is key. I think we had a lack of communication with the last council administration, the mayoral seat. We didn't have enough communication. Nobody wanted to talk to anyone. No one wanted to come to a general common ground on what it is that was happening. So I think that in order for us to move forward, we have to learn how to effectively communicate with each other. I think that with the growth and the things that I'm trying to do in District 1, they're feasible things, they're things that can be accomplished. So working with the people that are there or the people that will be elected would not be hard for me because I've had those tough meetings. Like you said, I'm a part of Standing in Power, so I've met with Tab, I've met with Ty Opinion, I've met with all of the councilmen to try to find some type of semblance of resolve for the issues that we have in our city. None of them wanted to come forward or be forward thinking about what we have to do to bring our city to heal. So I want to make sure that with the next council, we're able to communicate, we're able to talk about these things. We actually do research and we read and we figure out what it is that we're actually signing on to. So I think if we can bring back that communication factor, I think if we can bring back time to research and look at things before we make votes and decisions, I think that will push us forward, and that will be a way that we can come together as a community.
What sets you apart from the other candidates?
I'm not a yes man. I'm not just going to agree with something because of who asks or who says this has to happen. I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure that every decision that I make is the best decision for the community. I'm an avid reader, I'm an avid researcher. I do read a lot of policy. I went to school for political science, even though I didn't finish. So I take politics and my community very seriously. So I know that they have long-term plans for my community specifically that does not include my community. So I want to make sure that I get in and save the land that we have, the land that my ancestors bought. My great-grandparents bought the land that we're on in 1936. And we've been there for going on 100 years, 10 years shy, 11 years shy of 100 years of being on that land. So I want to make sure that it's there for my progeny as well. It's there for the progeny of Crosstown, the progeny of the Northwest, Westtown, District 1 as a whole. I want to make sure that it's still there when our grandkids come around. So
you have deep roots in District 1. You grew up, you were born and raised and reared generations upon generations in District 1.
Yeah, and when I was doing a lot of genealogical research for my family, one of the things I noticed is I would see my mom's side of the family on one page, and then I would go and do the research, and I would be like, oh, this is page 13 or 15, and they were on 12 or 15. So both sides of my family, my mom's side and my dad's side, have been in that community for generations.
And I see the light in your eyes. I see you light up when you talk about your family and where you've come from and where you're going. My next question for you is, and I'm sure you probably already answered this, but I do want to ask, overall, what makes you qualified for people to say, yes, we want Terrance Adkins to represent us in District 1?
Well, I've already kind of been doing the work. I've already been educating my people on, voting rights and different policies and things like that. I've had town halls. We have in Standing in Power, we've had town halls. We've had community meetings. We do community service. We do all of those things. So what I would say is that choose someone who's already been doing the work. Choose someone who has a track record of getting things done. Choose someone who is going to make sure that you're not sold out to the highest bidder, that makes sure that you get what you need as a councilman. Someone who's answering the phone calls. I'm already answering phone calls for people and trying to direct them where they need to go. So choose someone who's doing the work.
And let's see. My last question is, how do you plan to work with the new Chief of Police, Chief Tory Mack, and Deputy Chief Eric Stischer? There's a new administration, and from what I've heard, from the mayoral candidate to the city council candidate so far, is that they like what they see. Would you say you like what you see?
I do like what I see. I spent the past 2 years trying to work with Ty Pinion and also Natus Carlisle, who was the interim chief at the time. So I will still continue to do that work and work with them. When this happened with Steve Perkins, we had multiple meetings with Ty Pinion. Todd was not forthcoming with a lot of evidence. He was outright pretty much disrespectful when it came to us giving him suggestions and him just not doing them at all. I see Chief Tory Mack and Deputy Chief Stischer as a breath of fresh air when it comes to the department. It's going to take a minute, it's going to take a while for that department to be cleaned up the way that it needs to, but I do see the progress. I do want to see them come out to the community more, and I will be available to facilitate that so they can come out and meet some of the people in District 1 So I will be doing everything. I will be apt to work with every department in the city of Decatur to make sure that we get what we need.
And you kind of answered my question. My next question was how you intend to work with the new department, but you said them coming out to the district and you all facilitating or partnering with each other so that the police departments were visible.
And we used to have a thing, the PALS program, where they were coaching different recreational sports. So we need to get back to that. We need to get to community policing because we see disparity between hiring practices because a lot of young black kids do not want to become police because of the stigma that comes with it. So we kind of have to break that stigma because we need people from our community to police our streets.
That's it for me. Any other questions you have, Mr. Adkins, or questions for me, I should say, or anything else that you'd like to add about your run for District 1?
No, I'm just happy to be running. I'm very passionate about this. I want to make sure that, the things that I saw and imagined as a child come to fruition in District 1.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.